So sorry I've joined late, but I think we'll start from now. Yeah, so hope you had a wonderful week, and my hope is that today you are ready to learn something new and expand like your knowledge on what we are going to cover. So as I had mentioned earlier, so for these community learning projects, it's all about researching and the use of open source projects. So this week I've been doing my research, and there are a few resources that I have for us to use today. So we'll proceed on with our project from where we left off last time. So I'll open my Visual Studio Code and we can proceed on from there. Okay, so I'll open my terminal, then you can head over to the FlexDSA open source project. Okay, so let me open that directly from the desktop. Okay, also if your mic is not on mute, you can please mute so that we can avoid the background noise. Thank you. Okay, so we have our chatbot app over here, and I've done some advancement in it, and I'll not share that for today, but today I'll show you something else. But I can just give you a brief overview of what I've done in this app. So first of all, we have the actions.py file. So for the actions.py file, I've added some Python functions to help me with some stuff we would like to do with this Python. Then if we go to the data part, so we have the nlu.yml. So you can see I've changed my NLU intents to things that are medical based. So for example, ask medical questions. So this is an example of a medical question. So what are the symptoms of your medical conditions? So how can I treat a migraine, for example? What is the cause of asthma? So things like that. Then provide self-care advice. So what can I do for back pain relief? So these are some of the things that a user can ask. Then we have the rules.yml. So you can see for the rules, I've added things like handle denial, submit appointment form. So if someone wants to book an appointment with us, they can do things like that. Storage.yml. So the storage will handle everything that we need to do for this medical lab. But our main focus won't be there for today. So first of all, let me close this, then we'll look at something else, which is on Rasa also. So I'll show you how you can use open source projects to create models that are already there, then you can advance them. So what we are going to do here is we are going to open our terminal, then I'll click on new terminal. Then, okay, so what are we going to do? So we are going to activate our environment, so which is our Rasa environment, and we do that by typing in .rasa scripts activate. So we now have our environment active. So let me close all the command prompts that we have here. Then once I have all of them closed, I'll take you guys slowly through the steps of using open source projects to create your own files. Okay, so we have the FlexDSA open source. Then I'll click on this. Should not be there. So I'll close everything here. Then I'll create a new folder, and this will be our Rasa underscore bot underscore v1. So this is our Rasa bot v1. Then I'll click on cd Rasa underscore bot underscore v1. Or instead of doing that, so I'll delete this folder since once we clone what has already been created, we will have a new folder over here. So if I go online, so I'm showing you like the process of doing this. So I can search for open source Rasa bots. So that's what I'm going to search. And here you can see we have AI assistance in healthcare. So open source starter pack. So we can open that. And you can see this is being provided by Rasa. And the good thing is you will note that what is being implemented here is not something that is available on our country. So what we can do is we can use what is here to like clone the project and customize it to meet the needs of our country, right? So things like that. So you can see like if we read this documentation over here, you can see it saying that we have Medicare Locator, so Alpha is an example of AI assistance to help developers in healthcare build their own. So we are allowed to like use open source projects to build on top of them and come up with our own projects. So healthcare costs are exploding all over the world. So at Rasa, we believe that open source technology has a massive potential to help deliver better results at a lower cost. So it will lower the cost for us since we will not have to like generate all this data that we need. We will not have to like spend a lot of time trying to like fit our models and doing all that. So here you can see they are mentioning that we open sourced a starter pack for developers to learn how to automate full conversations in healthcare. So it is in this GitHub, right? So we are opening that repo. Yes. Yes, Tony. So you have a question you can ask.
I don't know if it's me only, but I can't hear you loud enough.
Okay, so you can hear me clearly. Can anyone else confirm if they can hear me well? I think my microphone is okay.
Joseph, I can hear you well.
Okay then. Thank you for confirming, Timothy. Okay, thank you. So maybe Tony, you can try change your audio output device and see if everything will be okay. So over here we are trying to look at how we can use open source projects to customize them. So if here we are saying that this is intended as a learning tool and not a fully trained AI assistant. So our goal is to inspire developers all over the world to build AI assistants that help their healthcare system more pleasant and efficient for patients, so payers, providers, and other stakeholders. Then we can look at the use case, so for what has been created here. So finding local healthcare in the US can be cumbersome, especially if you are not exactly sure what is covered by your plan. So we've created Medicare Locator to help those recipients who need the most help to find nearby hospitals, so nursing homes and health home agencies that are registered with Medicare. So for us, we will have to look at what we will replace Medicare with. So users can find the information they need simply by talking and asking questions. So we picked this use case to demonstrate how an AI assistant can handle a full conversation and pull in data from third-party APIs. So just grab the starter pack from GitHub and run it on your local machine. So I'll show you how we can run this. But since this model is quite big, right? So it requires us to like install new libraries, right? So I'll shift to another model which is now of, so which is which has low resources as compared to what we have here. Then in our next session, so we will install this model and we will customize it to like work in the Kenyan based market. So this will not be working in the US based market. So I have another link here and I'll share that link with you in the chat. So let me do that now. So I've shared the link and that's another open sourced Rasa bot. So you can see it's a mental health chatbot developed in Rasa framework to analyze a person's chances of mental illness on the basis of a survey questionnaire. Yeah, so have a fun conversation with the bot and uplift your mood. So we want to clone this bot. So how can we do that? So what we will do is over here on our Visual Studio Code. So I'll take this flow now. So I want you guys to like understand the process of cloning open source projects. So what you have to do is you have to like understand some basic of Git. So this is a repository that is on GitHub. So we have to get all these. So first of all, we'll open our Visual Studio Code. Then what we will do is we will type in git clone. Then we will paste in this link. So do you see this link that we have up here? So we'll just have to paste in that link. Then I can click on enter. Then you can see my VS Code is cloning onto the Rasa mental health chatbot. So it will take a few minutes to do that. So depending on the speed of my internet. So let's wait and see what we are going to get. And over here we have a demo of how that app works. So we can open this image in a new tab and see like the sample conversation that we are going to have here. Yeah. So we have bot loaded. So type a message and press enter or just use that to stop the bot. So we have the user input saying hi. Then the bot will reply, hi, tell me about yourself. So how are you today? Then the input maybe from the user will be perfect. Then the bot will reply, would you like to go on a quick mental health situation analysis survey with me? Yeah, so things like that. So that's just the demo. And at the end, so maybe we can start from here. So will you bring up a mental health issue with a potential employer in an interview? Then the user replies, maybe, but I'm not sure if I should. Then do you feel that your employer takes mental health as seriously as physical health? Yeah, I do. So actually this bot can be used for maybe interviewing workers to like see if their employer takes care of their mental health if they are considerate of that. So let's wait for this code to finish running. So already I have 18 of the 46 resources over here downloaded. So over here on my VS Code, you'll see we have a new folder. So called the Rasa Mental Health Chatbot. So this will be our Rasa bot V1. So something that we've extracted from an online source. So this GitHub repository from this user. Okay, I can't spell this name quite well, but all credit goes to her. Yeah. Okay, so just a few minutes, then these resources will be done downloading. Okay, so let me change my network so that we can finish this fast. Yeah, so hope you guys can still hear me. Yeah. So let's rerun this part for git clone, and it should proceed on from where we were. Okay, so as this is running, we can check the files that are there on GitHub. So here are the files that we have. So we can check the data folder, since this is the most essential folder here. And we can go and have a look at the nlu.yml file. So for the nlu.yml file, we have the greeting file, so where we take the user greetings. Then we have the name entity part, so whereby we take in the name of the user, so where the user can say something like, my name is maybe Joseph. Then maybe I can say something like Joseph this side. Then I can reply maybe to something like, it's Joseph. Then Joseph is my name. So the difference, so we are like giving this model the different inputs that it should expect from a user when it asks for the name. Then we have the thanks intent. So how am I going to say the thank you? So I can say thanks, I can say thank you, I can say thanks using small t, thanks a lot, thank you so much. So here we can add more if we want to. Then we have the intents for goodbye, the intents for affirmation, the intents for denial, then the intents for having a great mood, the intents for having an unhappy mood, maybe a bot challenge. So yeah, to confirm if this is our bot. The well-being part, so the well-being intent. So I am not feeling well, I am unwell, I do not feel well today. Then the gender, so we have male, female, so those are the main genders. And maybe you can add something like prefer not to say. Then we have things like employment, so are you self-employed or things like that. Then we have history of mental illness. So do you have a history of mental illness, work interference? So how does your mental illness interfere with you? Then company, maybe you can also get the company number of employees, the company health benefits, health resources. So these are the different intents that have been added here. So you can note that for our initial model, these intents were quite minimum. So we had like 3 to 4 intents. So we had the bot challenge, we had the happy mood, unhappy mood, and we had the greetings challenge and the goodbye challenge. So actually 5 intents. But over here you can see this user has added more intents to our bot. So, and these intents are medical based. So that's for the nlu.yml file. So what we expect from the user as input. Then we can go back to data. Okay, so it's still loading. My files are still installing also over here. Then we can check the rules. Okay, and these are the rules. So for example, we have the rule for just, we only have one rule, or we only have 2 rules. So say goodbye anytime the user says goodbye. Then say I'm a bot anytime the user challenges. So intent is bot challenge, then intent is goodbye. So those are the rules. So we only have 2 rules. So we can go ahead and check the stories that we have here. So the only downside that we have for using Rasa is it relies on these intents and inputs that you put into your model, right? And if you maybe send a text message that this bot hasn't checked there before, then your bot will have an issue. And I think with the development of APIs such as the API for GPT 3.5 and all of that, so we can create even more better models using that rather than using Rasa. And actually, I think that gives me an idea as to what we should do. So in our next session, we should maybe so when we are done running the Rasa Health mental health chatbot, I can share with you how we can now use the today based models, so the chat GPT. So we can create something like a chat GPT model that is now customized for our use case. So we won't like have to use the OpenAI APIs, so we will just have to like download a smaller model of so a smaller version of the chat GPT model. Then we can train it on our own local data, and that is the medical based data, and that bot will be able to do that. So let's see. So smaller GPT model from local. And I think maybe this, I think we should use this, the llama and the alpaca model. So you can run ChatGPT on your local computer. So I think we will use this. And maybe what do we get from being GPT? So yes, it's possible to run a GPT level AI model locally on your laptop, phone, and Raspberry Pi. So a software developer named Georgie created a tool called Llama CCP that can run Meta's new GPT 3 plus AI large language model. So however, it is important to note that GPT Neo X20B currently the only pretend model provided by OpenAI is a very large model. So with the weight alone takes up around 40 GB in GPU memory, and due to tensors, so you need like a minimum of 2 GPUs with a total of 45 of GPU VRAM. So actually this will be a challenge, so we can't run any of the OpenAI's GPT model, but we can run the llama model. So I think I'll share a tutorial for that. So we have our repository now cloned here. So we can type in cd, then we can open the Rasa dash mental dash l dash chatbot. Then I can click on enter. So we are in there. So I can clear this so that we can have a neat space here. So we can check our codes again. So we have the data. So this is the NLU. So for the NLU, we've discussed this already. We've checked the rules file. We've checked the stories.yml file. Then we can also have a look at the config.yml file. So for the config, we have nothing there. For the credential.yml file, we also have nothing there. For the domain.yml file, we have these things. So we have the intents being taken in, and now we define the actions, right? Yeah, so maybe for the text hi, we can change it to so what can we change it to? So we can say hey, welcome to our test box, right? How can I help you? Something like that. Then yeah, we have that. Then hey, tell me about yourself. How are you today? So these are the things that our bot can reply to. Yeah, then we can save that. Then for the models, I think this user had only one model. Then I think he also created a file called chatbot.py. So I think this chatbot.py file was to be used to like have your model run online. Then actions, let me see if there is something here on the actions.py file. So for the actions.py file, we have these actions being imported. And the only action that has been imported is the class action hello world. So this class takes in the name and returns action hello world. And what does the action hello world do? So it prints out I am Rasa build mental health chatbot. Yep. Then it can also reply so it replies to the message hello, so we can copy that. So with this model here, and maybe us changing one of the text here, we can train it again. So what we need to do is we need to type in the code Rasa train, and this will train this model that we have all over again. So actually we can delete the original user models, or let us just leave them the way they are. Then train our own new model here. So we just type in Rasa train. So we'll give it a few minutes to run for this model to be trained. And this will also confirm if the code that we've cloned has any errors. So if it has any errors, so we'll get to see them here on our terminal. Okay, so let's give it a few minutes to run and then we can proceed. Yeah, so as I had mentioned before, when we type in Rasa train, we get to like know if this code has any errors. And you can see we are getting an error. So YML validation exception. So failed to validate. So this thing here. So domain.yml. So please make sure the file is correct and all mandatory parameters are specified. So here are the errors found during validation. So in that location, so this model cannot find the required key, so mappings, so path, slots, underscore name. So let's open the domains.yml file and see what we are having here. And I think it is in line 40. Yeah. So we have these slots. So we can comment these out since we don't know what that is. So it means we'll have to go deeper into the code and we try to like learn and understand it more. Yeah, so let's save the file, try train the model again and see if it will work this time around. So Rasa train. And also if it does not work, so we can still have a look at the GitHub repository where this user has open sourced a bot and try see if we have the documentation for that, and I think we have that. So instructions for Rasa installation and developing chatbot. So we can open that. Yep, so we can scroll down and see how the user approaches this project. And we just have to look at the main key points here. So we have pip install Rasa, so I've shown you that already. Then she explains the files, the models, everything, the pipelines that are there, custom components, so things like that. So our model is training, and I think we have some warnings here. Okay, so what are the warnings that we have? So please update your version key to Pencil's installation. So I think we should update our versions to version 3.1. Yep, so since the model is already training, we won't do that. So you can see up here we have the version part. So we need to update this version to something greater than 3.1 since our Rasa installation is greater than 3.1. So for the config.yml, we have no part for changing the version, but for the data part, the nlu.yml, we have to change the version to 3.1. For the rules, we also need to change them to 3.1. For the stories, again, we also need to change them to version 3.1. Okay, but since the model is running, we'll just let it run and we'll run the bot and see if it works. Yeah, so I think we really must try this. Since this was released on February 24th, March 2nd this year, someone linked the model. Then March 10, someone created a model using this. Then March 11th, someone used the model on a Raspberry Pi, which has a 4 GB RAM. So basically, my PC has a RAM of 8 GB, so it means that this model can work. And also on March 13, someone runs this model on a phone, right? So actually, this is quite interesting. So which means that this is a recent development. So we have like 15 days before this happened. So we can take advantage of this and use the open source llama model to like create our own bot. And this bot will be medical based, right? And we will train it on data from Kenya. So I think our model is now fully run. So I'll clear this to have a clean space. So clear. Then we can type in Rasa shell, I think. So this should allow us to like use our terminal to get to interact with our bot. So the created bot. So the bot that we've cloned from online. So it's not created, so we've cloned it. So as that is running, I can still look at this article and see how we can do this. So I can head over here and search how to run the model. And actually, we can use Google Colab, which provides us with quite a huge RAM. So instead of running the model on your PC, so Google Colab would be better, and you will get enough space to run this model, and you will also get enough RAM to also run that model. So we have everything we need here. So I'll just bookmark this, then go through it, and I'll share the steps with you on Friday. So this is not that much detailed, but when we meet on Friday next week, I'll have everything you need. So I'll teach you all of this. So how you can take advantage of the open source llama model, so which is similar to ChatGPT. Yeah, so over here we have our chatbot running. So today it never disappointed us. So we can now start interacting with this bot. So you can say something like hello. Let's see the output. Then the output is hey, tell me about yourself. So how are you today? Then I can say something negative. So I'm a little bit sad. I'm a little bit sad. Then I can click on enter. Let's see what the bot reply will be. So I am a little bit sad. The bot doesn't understand that. Then you can type in hello again. The bot doesn't reply. So you can see when using open source models, so you get to like experience a few issues. Yeah, right. So, so what else can we do? Maybe let's try saying how are you today? So you also get no output. Yep. So yeah, I think this should be an issue. So I can click on stop, and the bot has stopped. So what I'll do is I will delete this new model that we've created today. So let me do that. So on the models part, so let me delete this model. Then we will run the model that the user had created. So we can type in here Rasa share and see if it's going to run that model that the user had created there before. So the model version is trained using Rasa open source 2.51 and it's not compatible with your installation which supports models built with Rasa 3.54 and above. So let's change the version of our file since I think that should be the cause of the warning. And let's change this to 3.1. Copy that, save, change the domain.yml version, save. So change the rules also, save, nlu.yml, save. And what else? So we can check the endpoints, domain, change credentials, change config, change. So everything should now be okay. Then let's check our domain.yml. So there was that part that we commented out. So the slots. So how can we? So let's uncomment that. See if we are going to get a different reaction this time around. Okay, so let's train our model again. So clear, then Rasa train. So hoping this time round we won't get any errors. Okay, so we have an error. So what is this error saying? So from Rasa open source 4.00 onward, it will be required to specify a recipe in your model configuration. So default recipe. Okay, so that's not major. So I think our code is now running with this part now included. So where is it? So it's the slots part. So the slots part is now included and we don't have any errors. So I think we only had to change the versions. Yeah. And everything will run okay. Okay, so let's wait for the model to be done running and we can proceed. And here you can see the accuracy of the model. So most of the time it's 0.95% accurate. So the model is 95% accurate. So these users created quite a good model to work with. Okay, so our model has been trained. Let's run our model now. So we will have Rasa share. Okay, so we are still waiting, so I think we'll have to wait for like a minute for this to fully run. Okay, so our bot is now running, so let's try again. So hello, that will be our input. So let's see the bot's reply. So hey, tell me about yourself. So how are you today? So I can say something like good. Let's see the output. So we don't have any output. Hello again. How are you? Let me, yeah, so the bot has, yeah. So if I type in how are you, you can say it's saying I am a friendly mental health chatbot. You are close alive. So the issue we are having is this bot doesn't recognize some of the things we have here. So if I type in hello again, we have to follow like a given route, right? Depending on what you have. So if I type in hello, so it will give me this same, it should give me this same output here. So let me type in, it will get an output. Hello for a third time. Or let's go to this part. So I am a friendly mental health chatbot. So you are close alive. So if we come here to our, okay, so to visit stories, no, not stories, but it should be the domain, the triangle. So hey, welcome to our test bot. How can I help you today? At a survey, hey, tell me, this is the ATA mode. So from the ATA mode, we can go to the storage.yml and check for things like the mode. So mode greeting, so ATA mode, action mode. Okay, so this is the mode part. So let's check the nlu.yml and check the mode part here. So mode greeting, so you can see we don't have good. So we have things like great, perfect, and all of that. So what we can do is we can follow the path these users followed in the example shared here. So we can try use the same text and see if we are going to get the same results, right? So let's open this image. So hi, so let's stop the bot and run it again. So maybe I can type in and typing in hi here. And is it hi with small h or capital H? So it's small h. Okay, let's see what the bot says. We have no output, so let's stop the bot. Or is there a way we can restart it without stopping it? Don't think there is a way of doing that. So let's just stop it first, then restart it again. So Rasa shell. Then we are going to follow the procedures these user followed and see if you are going to get similar results. So the only issue with like trying open source projects is you will be experiencing some issues, and the only hard part is you'll have to debug them. So you'll have to debug these issues. Try see where am I going wrong. So things like that, right? And basically so this is one of the downsides of using Rasa. So if maybe the greeting is not here, then the bot will not like understand what you are trying to mention. And it follows like a specified route, and that if that route is not followed at par, then you will have issues displaying outputs to your user. And that's why I came up with an idea of us using the llama model to try create something even better, so which is unsupervised but with some rules. Yep. So we'll finish this example here, and maybe you can ask questions then after that. Okay, so our bot has been loaded, so let's start by typing in there. So let me split these windows. So we have hi here, small h. So you should expect to like get the same output. So we have, hey, tell me about yourself. So how are you today? Then I can say something like perfect. So let's see if we are going to get an output or if we are going to like be stuck like I've done before. So you can see we get an output. So would you like to go on a quick mental situation analysis survey? So we can say something like, yeah, sure. So what's your gender identity? So I'll say male since I'm a male. Then are you self-employed? I can say no. Yeah. So if I say no, then the bot stops working. So I can say something like, no, I am not self-employed. If I run that, it asks the next question now. So you see, if we have an error, the bot doesn't display what that error is, and that's an issue. So you have to debug that in the background of the code. Then, do you have a family history of mental illness? So let's see some of the replies we have here. Okay, so we can say, nope, my family doesn't have history. And do you feel anyone interfere with your work? So maybe I can say rarely. So you can see just following these steps that are up here. Then how many employees does your company or organization have? I can say many. Then is your employer primarily a tech or company organization. Then I can say maybe, yep, I work there. So you can see it's just following these steps that are here, and maybe not learning from like experience or giving user maybe like unique outputs. So that should give you a brief overview of what was there before. So like the Rasa bots. So I think this should be, so with the emergence of the chat GPT bots and the models like the leaked model for the like the leaked llama model, we can come up with something even better. So I think we will do that next week on Friday. So we will create our own medical based bot from the llama model, and it will be based on that. So for example, if I type in freegpt.1, so this is a clone of ChatGPT, and I say something like, I am not feeling well, so what should I get? So I should get like a better output here. And also let me open the ChatGPT one. So I'll use the GPT-4 model, and I can say something like, I'm not feeling well. Let's see what we get. So I'm not a doctor, but I can try help you with some general advice. So if you're not feeling well, it's important to listen to your body. So things like that. So you can see the GPT bot is just too general. So let me reload these. Copy the text I've typed in here. Let's see if this will work. So this is not working, so I think the ChatGPT AI bot is working. So it's working better. So maybe I can start a new chat, select the GPT-4 model, which is more advanced, and I can use it to like do something even better. So I can say something like, so I want you to act as my doctor and advise me on a few stuff. Okay. Okay, so still mentioning that it's an AI language model and all that. So I can say I have health issues that are related to my job. So you can see it's trying to like it's trying to like talk to me and trying to like understand things that I'm mentioning to it. And I can give this model access to the web, and I can say something like, I am located in Nairobi, and so which place should I say? So I can say Nairobi Kilimani area, and I need access to a medical facility. So which one is the closest? And I can be specific here, so I can say Nairobi Kilimani area close to Yaya Center, and I need access to a medical facility as quick as possible. So which one is the closest? So let's run that and see the response. So this GPT has access to the internet, but so you can see it's trying to give me suggestions as to how I can get this. Maybe instead of asking for the location, I can ask for something else, since this model has access to the internet. So what can I say? So I can say something like, what are the current health facing Kenyans around Nairobi. So you can see it's trying to like mention some few stuff, but it's not that much specific. So this is just an illustration of what you can do with these models. So I think I can change this to like taking data from the past month. So stop generating, create a new chart. Okay, so I'll open that, then copy my query again and create a new chart. Then use the latest model. Then for the data, I can use the past year data. Then we can search for that again. Since I think with the past year data, we can get even more results. Then over here, I can change the region to, I don't think we have the Kenyan region yet, but it can search anywhere. So let's run that. So you can see now with a year of data, you can see it's like trying to outline things that are happening over here in Kenya. So Kenya around Nairobi and across the country are facing a range of health issues. So one primarily concern is the disease outbreak reported on October 2022 with a cumulative total of 300,000 confirmed cases. And so what was this disease? Yeah, so you can see like if we customize our model, so these llama model to like have access to the internet like I have done here for my GPT model, we can be able to like have it respond to medical related cases and things like that, so that we can maybe try create a tool that is lightweight and can be able to like suit our needs. So instead of using the Rasa bot, which you can see is rule based and cannot be able to like learn from new user inputs, I would suggest we use something more advanced like this. So we can use the OpenAI APIs, or we can use these open source Llama model. So that's all for today. So maybe do you guys have any questions for me?